I am Michael Herring, the new head men's lacrosse coach at Young Harris College in Young Harris, Georgia. Well, I've for years had a desire to coach at the college level, and that really had nothing to do with sort of rising up some mythical coaching ladder. It had to do, in the main, with trying to a desire to see if I could replicate what I had done at the high school level in terms of relationships, team culture building, and the success that my teams have had at the high school level to see if that was replicable at the college level. So that was the initial impetus for me to look at the Young Harris job. So I grew up in Syracuse, New York, which is God's country for lacrosse folks, and managed to, I'm Native American, I'm Onondaga, so my mom grew up on the reservation just to the south of the city of Syracuse, and so was introduced to the game there, and then obviously played middle school, high school in the Syracuse area, and then sort of fought my way to Dartmouth College and played there, and then got into the private school world, teaching, coaching, and spent the majority of my career up at Noble and Greenough School in Boston, just outside of Boston, Massachusetts, and then spent the last, created the program there, and then spent the last 3+ years at Blue Ridge School in Virginia, and recreated the program there as well. And both programs are quite strong to date. So I'm not sure that I would say I have a coaching philosophy. I think everything is built off relationships, and each individual is obviously unique. And so I approach working with young people in a unique fashion. So in terms of coaching style, I guess I would say the age-old adage of I endeavor to teach players how to play, not teach them plays. And so I think for the young person who's considering playing Division II NCAA lacrosse, and in particular considering Young Harris, this would be a program in which at both ends of the field, the student athlete will have an incredible amount of freedom and an incredible amount of decision-making responsibility, because of the fact that we want to teach our players how to play, not necessarily program them for every step of the way. And so this is a really unique offensive system, sort of a hybrid from traditional American field lacrosse and serious rudiments of the Canadian box game. So for offensive players, it is I would say unorthodox and an incredible amount of fun. If you like to score the ball, Young Harris would be a good place for you to come. And on the defensive end of the field, we certainly want to turn our guys loose to a great extent, though I guess I think about the shot clock perhaps a little differently than most people do on the defensive end. My philosophy has changed a little bit on that, and basically trying to have our players understand that once the ball gets over midfield, we're really only talking about 60 seconds of defense. And if we can play 60 seconds of defense solid on the ball and connected as a 6-person group, or a 7-person, including the goalie, I think we're going to have a pretty good chance. So my thinking on that has changed with the advent of the shot clock, in that we certainly want to press out on the perimeter, but we will do that a little less than my teams have done in the past because of the shot clock. So my recruiting plan is based off of my recruiting plan at Blue Ridge School, which was a international certainly national in the United States, and add Canada. Was a national approach to recruiting. I will certainly continue that, and in fact, many of the families that are very interested in young Harris right now, including some signees, are families that I had recruited for my time at Blue Ridge Schools. So obviously we want to defend our home turf. Obviously, the Atlanta area will be a huge focus, and I know the club programs down in that area pretty well. So that will be a huge piece of the puzzle going forward. Now, at this late stage of the game, trying to get class of 21 student athletes here, I certainly have to think a little more broadly brushed and a little more global, if you will. So I'm excited about the challenge of putting together 25 or 30 guys to be ready to compete for a Peach Belt Championship in the spring of 22. I think it's a conference that has some really good coaches and some really good programs. Though I think we will, aspire to be competitive immediately. I don't think my mindset is one in which this will be a sort of long-term developmental process. I think we want to be competitive immediately, and if I have some luck and I do my job well on the recruiting front, I think we stand a pretty good chance to be competitive right out of the gate in the spring of 22.